Back to my channel, King, doing Danganronpa yakuza or chapter 3. Probably only chapter 3 if I'm feeling like I maybe go chapter 4, but I haven't decided. Hazmi once again found himself in a boring class lecture, lazily standing out the window. He gazed longingly at the tower of the True Hope's Peak Academy. Throughout the day and day, daydreams about how his life could have been different if only he had been born with a talent. He imagined what his high school life could have been like, the friends he could have, and the memories he could make. The more he thought about it, the more he was incensed by a feeling of indecisiveness and despair. The class entered a study period. Everyone else was writing notes and reading their textbook. Azmi remained fixed on the tower outside, his broad meditations, where he finally broke a familiar swirling voice. Why do you always do that? Every day you stare out that window like you're a fucking prison or something. Hazmi looked up and saw the blonde girl standing over him, with crossed arms. It's none of your business, Hazmi finally started. It's pretty obvious why you're staring at that building every day. You wanna get out of the dump. You're totally absent in your delusional dreams. It's pretty freaking sad to be honest. She sat down at him. Oh, so you're mind reader now, huh? Hazme grumbled sarcastically. Hey, for what it's worth, I get it. Me and you aren't so different, you know. We both aren't satisfied with being average like these other plebs, and we both want to get out of into House Peak main course. Don't project yourself onto me. We aren't anything alike, Hajime said, bolting, looking up at Natsumi. He had no anger in his eyes, just apathy. His statement actually kind of stung. That's me true, she didn't show it. Of course we are different, unlike you, I haven't give up. I actually am going to success in my goal. Like I said, I'm getting into speak, period. She affirmed it confidently. And how exactly do you plan on doing that? Natsumi grinned in a response to this. It was a devious grin. Hazme felt a twist of applications whenever Natsumi was planning it couldn't be good. Oh, I got a plan, don't worry. It's pretty simple. We're reserve course, remember? Meaning if one of the students at Hope's Peak drops out, one of us steps in to replace them. So, this is how I get in. Hazme blood chilled. What was she implying? How far was she willing to go? I guess that sort of makes sense, but how do you know that any student will drop out? He asked, slightly nervous. Well, they might need a little convincing. I can be very persuasive. And I even have a certain Franklin-faced bitch in mind who would be the perfect candidate. Just as Natsumi said that, a tall girl with messy dark hair stood up over her and glanced at her with a furious eyes. Natsumi, I should have known you would still be the same convening witch you were in middle school. What exactly are you planning to pull? She ground angrily and blinked her teeth. The room was dead silent as Natsumi smugly grinned at her. Ah, Sato. I thought I smelled something rank when I first got here. So, you're still a button bullies for that little girl, Yingri twat? What are you? How adorable. She couldn't with venom on her voice. Hazme awkwardly looked back and front between two girls who were both standing beside his desk, and he was right in the middle of on no man's land right now. Wait, do you two know each other or something? Natsumi glared at her. She's just some bitch I knew in middle school. That fact she's here too just is a horrible luck on my part. Sato ignored Hazume's question and remained fixed on Natsumi. If you were schemed anything that I will hurt my hero, I swear I will make you pay. Stay away from her, you reject it, she said with menace in her voice. Oh, what's that? Are you threatening me? You clearly heard carpet muncher. Natsumi shimmered through her teeth as her smug smile began to crack, giving hits of anger that moaned between it. Sato clenched her fist. It's not a threat. It is a promise, you snake. If you... She sneered before she was interrupted by another soft voice. A red-haired girl with short hair entered the room nervously. Sato, what's going on? Mahira asked, approaching her. Then her eyes met Natsumi, and she felt a twinge of fear going through her spine. Natsumi smirked and looked eyes. Mahira asked, approaching her. Then her eyes met Natsumi, and she felt a twinge of fear through her spine. Natsumi smirked and looked eyes at her. Ah, my hero. Long time no see. We used to have so much fun together in middle school. Maybe we should catch up on old times, she said, taking a step towards the redhead. My hero's eyes dilated as the memories of the flooded back to her. Were anything but fun. Natsumi returned, made fun of her, messed with her things, and generally bullied her around, all while laughing, calling her a friend. It wasn't until Sato came along and took my hero. Sato stepped between my hero and Natsumi detectively. She glanced at Natsumi with a raise and contempt. Sparks were practically flying from her eyes. You aren't going anywhere near my hero, and you aren't going to drag her down to your level. This is not going to happen, she said menacingly as my hero held onto Sato's arm gently. Natsumi chuckled across and cocked her head and said, looking directly at my hero. She met my hero's eyes with her piercing gaze. Still handling behind your little Oni-chan. Can't stand up for yourself or fight your own battles, and you are supposed to be some kind of ultimate. You're still the same scared little brat I knew in middle school. How pathetic, she said with a mocking forced laugh. My hero frowned her brow with anger and let go of Sato's arm. And you are still the same insecure and jealous, hateful person you were back then, though. You haven't changed one bit, Natsumi, she responded firmly. Natsumi scoffed and brushed the word off like a water running off a raincoat. I don't care what you sparing anger-headed little pussy bag like you think about me, she pat as her tone darkened. But you still better watch your mouth. You know what's good for you. Got it? She treated. Sato stepped in close to Natsumi. No, my hero is 100% right. The only practical one here is you. You need to face the reality that you will never get into the main course. They chose her, not you, because there's nothing special about you. You have no talent. You're just a nasty, loud-mouthed loser. Natsumi visibly totally changed as Sato's words dug into her guts. Her expression changed from a confident smirk to a prudent wince. However, that quickly morphed to a pure, animated anger. Her cheeks were flushed and her eyes were watered. What the fuck did you just say? She yelled. She raised her fist to punch Sato, but before could, my hero jumped in between them. Natsumi was surprised by this, but didn't throw her punch. Just Just stop it, guys, please, she cried out. Hazme also stood up and he could just stand by and watch this. At this point, things were getting out of hand. He stood up and clamped Natsumi's right arm. Then, once he was apparent to punch with. That's enough, Natsumi. Just let it go, he advised her dramatically. Natsumi looked at him, qualifying with anger, and her eyes mitted. She didn't say anything. She just tucked her arms away from him and brought it down to her sides. Meanwhile, Mayur took Sato's hand and tugged her out of the room quickly before any more fighting could take place. The class was speechless and Natsumi just stood there sitting in anger and clenched her fist so hard her knuckles were white. Why did you stop me? I thought you were supposed to be on my side, she muttered through her teeth. I have no idea why you would think that, he said with an extraordinary sigh. Closing his eyes, the girl was even more of a handful than he first imagined. You really should go around starting fight, Natsumi. Fuck you. I do what the fuck I want, she groaned, reaching up to rub her eyes and see nastily rendered things. She stood out of the classroom. It was still the middle of the day, but she ended up not coming back for the last 2 classes. She needed to blow up some steam. Hajime prayed this would be the last he would hear of this conversation, but he didn't accept prayer to be answered in any time soon. The next few days passed slowly. Natsumi barely Hajime and she seemed frustrated and unhappy. Hajime noticed slight bags under her eyes, possibly the incident of lack of proper sleep. She still ate lunch with him as it had somehow become a routine for both of them. Neither of them had anyone else to eat with after all. However, she scarcely said a word. She didn't even ask him to get her food for him. At this point, Hajime had no idea how to characterize their relationship. It clearly wasn't romantic and they weren't friends. They could be considered associations or maybe people who go to school with other people they hate. Sounds about right. Hajime was keeping an eye on her just in case she did something stupid or dangerous. Somehow she had become his responsibility. 3 days after the internal incident, Hajime held out hope that drama has passed. It was his turn to clean the classrooms that afternoon, so he had to stay a little late. After finishing up, he made his way toward the exit, but along the way, he saw 2 girls having a conversation in the hall by the stairs. Ah, shit, Hajime said to him. Sato and Natsumi were already in the midst of a heated arguments. Sparks were flying. Both girls looked like they were on the verge of throwing fists. I told you to stay away from my hero. Where are you going to get it? Get it through your head. That scumbag like you have no place in Hope Speak, Sato yelled with her face marinated foot away from Natsumi. Natsumi had her arms crossed and she glanced daggers at Sato. I do as I please, and if you know what is good for your little girlfriend and you stay out of my way. It would be a shame if things got nasty, she interrupted. You don't seem to get it, Natsumi. You'll never get your way. Period. My hero will always be better than you. You're not him. She snarled at the blonde girl who was beginning to lose her composure. Oh please, you just been up my hero's ass since middle school. You're a love-struck, skipping bitch. I almost want to crush your precious Mahira just to see the look on your face. For example, it would be a shame if something were happened to those hands of her. Mock smacking her fist onto her palm. showing a crushed motion. If you even touch my hair, I swear I will personally end you. Natsumi and Sato said with serious conviction. Natsumi was taken back by the trend, but she tried to play it off with a warm smirk. Oh yeah? I'm shaking my boots. Really intimidating. Sweated her hair. Now run along and pick her plus out of your teeth and your nasty dice smack. Natsumi was interrupted as the sound of enough echoed through the hall. Natsumi had a red mark on her cheeks and her eyes were wiped with shock. Sato had just opened hand smacked her in the face, and Natsumi reached up to play on her cheeks, and her expression changed from shock to manic. You just made the worst mistake of your life. You just said your fucking dead word. She started glaring at Sato. Hajime cursed himself that he wasn't quick enough to grab Sato's arm. A few dozen straggler students had seen the incident and the slap knife, and they were already mumbling to each other. Hajime grabbed Natsumi's arm and tugged her away. He brought her to the balcony of the next floor above them, and once they reached it, Natsumi jerked her wrist away. Holy shit, you can let go of my arms now. Now, who the hell do you think you are? She lanced out at him with angst. Listen to me, Natsumi. You need to stop this. This is going too far. You can't just threaten other people like this, Hajime said in a serious, concerned tone. Son of, you're the boss of me. I do what I want, she groaned paternally. No one from Hope's Peak is going to escort you if they find out about what you've been doing. You'll get expelled entirely, he scolded, almost yelling. Shut up about it already. You think I don't know that? I know that already, she yelled as tears began to well in her eyes and rolling down her cheeks. She quickly reached up to wipe them away out of embarrassment. She turned away from him and leaned on the railings, looking out at the afternoon sun. As it deepened lower and lower, Hajime stood there for a few moments as Natsumi collected herself and held back her tears. She raised the station, her hand on their arm, slunking. Why do you even want to get into the main course? What are you so obsessed with? I don't get it. Why is this so important to you? Hajime asked as the girl said off-putting. Natsumi took a while to answer. She inhaled through her nose and sniffed a bit. My big brother is the ultimate gangster. He carries the family name on his shoulder. Everyone has put all their hopes to him. He's just amazing. This is why I need to be an ultimate little sister. I want to be by his side. I want him to be proud of me, she said in an airless tone of voice that Hajime had noted her from before. He had never heard her think about another person with such narration. Okay, I understand that, but it's not like you need a talent in order to be a good sister. Hajime shrugged Natsumi's shock. She looked at him like he just told her that he discovered a pudding mine on the surface of Mars. Sorry guys, I had to laugh at that part. A pudding mine on the surface of Mars. Yes. Okay, let's just continue. Are you stupid? An awesome brother deserves an equally awesome sister. Nothing less. If I can live up to that, then I don't deserve to be his sister in the first place. Senior strained angrily. Tears once again showed her face. Hajime snorted to feel like he was arguing with a brick wall. He clenched his fist and raised his voice. You know, maybe there is more to life than having a talent. Did you ever think about that? Have you ever asked your brother what he thinks? He thinks. Do you really think his love for you is higher on whether or not you can impress him with some stupid talent? Is this what only the reason why you love him? If not, then why do you other way around? Natsumi looked at him wide-eyed. She had never seen him so passive about something. Hazmi himself could remember the last time he was in invested this amount of emotion into something. Perhaps it was because he was just arguing with Natsumi in the particular. He was arguing with someone else. He didn't even realize that he had placed his hand on her shoulder as he yelled at her. What are you trying to do? She mumbled, staring down at the floor. Hazmi realized that he was holding her shoulder in the rather new, domineering manner, so he let go. He calmed himself down and stared his got awareness. Natsumi didn't seem bothered by the physical contact. His word had rather related her far more. She contains her left arm nervously. You're just telling me just to give up? Or are you just saying that to try to drag me down to your level just because you already threw the towel? She asked in much softer tone voice than Hazmi was acquired to. Hazmi scratched his head and prodded, grasping for the right words. No, that's not. Look, someone I trust told me that there is more to life than talent, and that got me thinking. Maybe they're right. What if we're going about this all wrong? Maybe we should rather some things. Natsumi was speechless. She stood there unbelievable to eye contact with Hazime. They just stood there for what seemed like hours until Natsumi spoke. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. What should I do? She asked. Well, for starters, you need to stop this fighting, Sato and my hero. I think you should try to bury the hatchet with them, even if they still don't like you, whatever. Afterwards, Natsumi was taken back. What are you serious? Asking me to apologize to them? Fuck that. That ain't happening. No way. But I won't fight with them anymore. Sato can secure his snake silly for all I care. I don't give a shit anymore. The whole plan was never gonna work anyways. Azmi sighed with relief. That was a start. That was something at least Hazmi felt like he had seemed to gather burn during their conversation. It wasn't just because of Sato drama communication close. It was something else.